What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're taking out this BMW CE-04. Now, is this the future? With this Badger being electric, I think this is possibly the quickest bike BMW do. Let's go and test it out. We do currently only have 54 miles of range in this little Badger, so it's not going to be the longest test ride I do, because I don't fancy getting stranded. When brand new and in pristine conditions for this battery, you're going to get 130 kilometers, which is about 80 miles. And I say in pristine conditions because today is, I mean, it's saying +7, but it's not 7 degrees. It's a little bit colder than that. So the temperature is going to affect the battery. If I was to then put on the heated seat and heated grips because it's cold, that's going to affect the battery. And that for me is the problem with electric, is when you want your creature comforts, you're eating into your mileage. Well, this bike has the equivalent of 42 brake horsepower and 62 newton meters of torque. I'm currently running it in eco mode because that just, again, gives me more miles. But we do have different modes. We've got eco, rain, road, and dynamic. So when you put it onto dynamic, the power goes up to full, but the battery drops down to 47. In dynamic, the throttle response it's so smooth and it just picks up. Like, that's the problem though, isn't it? That's what you expect from electric bikes and electric power. It's just that instant pickup. Looking onto the charging side of this thing then, so we do have regen braking, so as soon as you come off that throttle, it does start braking quite heavily. So that's going to aid in obviously regeneration of the power to the battery. But it is something you need to be mindful of if you've got cars behind, because I'm assuming it does not show your brake lights. The good thing with the CE-04 is there's two main ways of charging this. You've got your standard kind of three pin household charging, or it does come with quick charging, so you can use the car quick chargers around in the car parks. So that's definitely a plus for this. Now obviously, depending which way you're charging is going to depend on the speed of which this bike charges, but if you're on the standard 3-pin, it's going to take about 4.5 hours just under to charge from 0 to 100%. But luckily, if you do have your quick charge cable, which is in the storage compartment below, and you are at a quick charge, that is going to charge it in 1 hour and 10 from 0 to 100%. So a massive difference on the charging capabilities. But I'm sure many of us now in our workplaces have electric charging points, so you can charge up via the 3-pin at home and then go to work and then plug in again, so then by the time you come to leave, you're at 100% anyway. But let's face it, this type of riding around and kind of traveling where your work is only 5-10 miles 15 miles max from your house, you got a Sainsbury's or a Tesco's close by, your gym's only a couple of miles away. Like, that is where this bike and the electric platform really comes through. So it's not going to be for everyone. But yeah, the power pickup on this is, it just gets going. Now this thing has got a max speed of 120 kilometers, so we're talking what, 75 miles an hour tops. Looking at the ergonomics then, I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, and I'll show you in a bit, but the seat has got a ridge on it for the kind of passenger area, and for me that's like the ideal position for me to sit. So I either sit on the ridge, which isn't comfortable, or I scoot forward and feel a little bit cramped, which again isn't very comfortable. There are two different feet positions. You got kind of like your normal seated position or out in front of you, but then as soon as I put them out in front of me, I feel like I'm on an armchair leaning right back. I must say the turning circle on this is super tight, and once you get used to it, it is pretty easy. So this is that ridge I was on about. For me, not helpful, because that's where my arse wants to go. Well, what do we think of the look of this thing then? Because obviously it is very futuristic-y. Like, it's very Blade Runner, isn't it? Do we think BMW were like, it's electric, we can't have it look like a normal scooter, make it look like it's from the future? And don't get me wrong, I do think they've done that. We've got a lot of these winglets cutting around on the front. We've got some at the rear as well. Like, the thing only goes 70 miles an hour max. I don't know if we need all these winglets cutting around, but I know they do a comfort pack, and yet I'm not sure if that changes the seat, whether they got a different profile seat, because 100% I would need to get a different style, something that was flat. It's all right comfort wise when you're not sat on the hump, but when you're on the hump, it's not very comfortable. Looking at the brakes, we've got twin 265s at the front, and then a cool looking rear wheel with again a 265 brake inside there. Massive 10.25 inch screen at the front. Push start button down the bottom, and then to get to any of the cubby hole, the bike has to be on. Push that little button under there, and there we go. Got USB-C port on the side there, ready for your phone, and I think it is vented as well, so your phone doesn't overheat. Sorry, had to move locations, got kicked out of the last car park, in another one now. Carrying on with the kind of luggage compartments, like I said, bike's on, that's your left-hand luggage. Next to the luggage compartment release catch is your DIN charger, so you can put something to charge your phone or whatever you need. And then next to that is where most of the magic happens. That's the charging port. More importantly, if you want to be able to charge fast charge, you need this. So it's a large storage compartment, so if you don't need to take this with you, then you've got a really good amount of storage underneath there. But if you do need to take that, it does take up quite a bit of space. And yeah, the release catch, just get into there, that button there. We've got a side stand and we've got a centre stand. For me, the bike is long, and it does feel like that when you are steering it around. I don't really mind the futuristic look of it, but what I do mind is the price point. This thing isn't cheap. It's coming in at £12,410. That's a lot of money for something that's going to do 70 miles an hour max and 80 miles max. Not quite sure on this orange screen, not sure how well it does. On top of the comfort pack, I believe there's a dynamic pack that you can get as well. That just adds a couple of extra little added features that you may want, including that dynamic riding mode. Just looking at the switchgear, very similar to your BMW. You've got your standard kind of spinny wheel, normal buttons, apart from this one here. I don't know if you can see it, it's got an R on it. And yeah, then on the right hand side we've got a heated grip, mode button, start stop, and then our usual BMW SOS button. But what's cool is on that left hand side, remember the little R? Well, this thing can go in reverse. To start the bike up, whether you want to go forward or backwards, side stand, centre stand has to be up. Obviously turn the bike on and then engage either the front or the rear brake, doesn't matter. And then push the start button. Once it's started, the screen changes over to let you know it's in drive mode, and then from there you just twist and go. But if you want to go in reverse, you push and hold the right, and then you just twist the throttle, and it goes. And as soon as you want to go forward, take your hand or your thumb off the reverse or the R button, and it just goes forward. That's pretty cool. We've all had times and situations where having a reverse gear would have made our lives a lot easier. This bike's cool, it's fun, it handles actually pretty well once you are going. It does take a little bit of getting used to, like I said, it does feel long as well. Is it for me? Definitely not. The distances I travel are going to exceed what I need from this. Also, it's expensive. I personally feel 12.5 grand for something that can't do 100 miles. A lot of money. Don't get me wrong, my Aprilia to own, I've done 85 miles to a tank, but then it took me 5 minutes to fill up, not a minimum hour and 10 on a fast charge. Let me know, what do you think about this? Would you own one of these in the future? If we are forced to go electric, does something like this excite you? Or are you dreading the day where the government tell us we can no longer have are combustion engines. Remember to start, pull the brake, push the starter, changes over, back, hold the R and twist. That's not the easiest to do when you're going back to the right. So you got this down, when it's like this and then still trying to rotate your wrist, it isn't the easiest. So I'm going to put it in road because if you don't have the dynamic package, I don't think you get dynamic. So let's not put it in dynamic. But you know, you can obviously connect your phone to this. And I think there's screens on the RT, so you can get your full map navigation on it as well. Yeah, I'm not keen on the forward foot position, just because of where my bum is. So like, you can get luggage attachments and everything like this, so you can still cut around and do your Uber Eats if you wanted. Oh, yeah. Now, I must say, there is something about there being absolutely no noise from this, other than a little bit of road noise from the tyres and a little bit of a whir from the engine. But apart from that, there's no engine noise. And if you've ever done a long distance ride, by the end of it, your ears just hurt. You just get like that throbbing feeling around your head. Especially if you've got an aftermarket exhaust on there. You know, that's probably one of the perks. Your hearing's not done in by the time you get to your destination. I mean, the brakes are sharp. I've only been using the regen braking and then the one on the right. But yeah, the brakes are actually extremely sharp. Which I've got time for. Right, you're going along and you're just like some serious stoppage. Like I say, around town, if you're in a city or you live on just on the outskirts of a city and you travel in for work, these type of bikes do make sense. And then you keep your big GSA for the weekend touring. Yeah, I mean, that lump sits right on my coccyx, so I have to like scooch my bum forward. And then I still start to feel cramps. Like, flickability, extremely good. Like, it does just flick. Like, it's just very nimble. Oh, me bum. Me bum. So like that, no brakes at all, and I've come to almost a complete stop. That's what I'm saying about how powerful the regen braking is. Your grips, turn them on. Yes. Heated seat. Yes. I think it would take a while for me to stop having range anxiety. Thinking, oh, it's goals, I'll put my heated seat on, but now I'm going to start draining that battery a little bit more. One thing I wish this did have was either hill hold control or a foot brake, because you have to keep one of your hands on to stop it rolling back, which is not handy. Last couple of bits to mention then. Now, this standard colour comes in white, but you can get it into the avant-garde colour, which is going to cost you a little bit more. We've got a standard seat height of 780mm, or with the comfort seat on, it does go up a little bit to 800. For me, I've had bending my knees, both feet flat on the floor, so no problems there. And lastly, this thing weighs 231 kilos. So it's not like... Bloody lovely. Not that I could ever afford an SUV Aston Martin. But yeah, if you're ever in Bristol area and you want to come and test out any of these fine machines, then jump up here to Dick Love It. Thank you very much for them to lend me this today. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it or found it useful, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. And there's nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.